And we will get going. Who wants to share some positive news? Who's done some paperwork lately?
I should have. I've got to do some.
Okay, is today the day?
Yes, I'm going to have to bug out of here about halfway through. I've got a photo shoot this morning. So,
Okay. All right. We're going to be talking about some important stuff. So put it on, keep it to your ear or something while you're chatting with the photographer. It'll be
I
worth it.
might just, yeah. No, I'll probably just get in my car and put it on my phone.
All right. What's going on with everybody? It's 8:31. We're talking about profit share today. It's one of those things, honestly, unfortunately, sometimes you say profit share and people are like, can't be worried about that stuff. I'm going to work forever, right? Um, well, let's jump right in, you guys. I just want to applaud you for being here. Um, I want to welcome Ashley Smith to the call. She's from North Atlanta, and I'm going to give her a chance once some more people are here to introduce herself. But she reached out to me individually and asked about profit share, so I invited her to the session this morning. So welcome, Ashley.
Hey,
Um,
Ashley.
okay, let's jump right in. Um, Last time we talked a little bit about the kind of the mechanics, okay, like how is profit share calculated and some of the history behind it. Now I want to talk a little bit about what makes Keller Williams unique, right? We got lots of real estate brokerages out there. Why are you guys work here, right? And I want to start off the conversation with this particular statistic, okay? 4% of when NAR, National Association of Realtors, 4% when they polled consumers that just got done buying or selling, they asked the consumer, how did you come to pick the agent that you worked with? So 4% of those agents, 4% of those consumers said we chose the agent based on the agent's brand affiliation. So let me explain how that might work. I think Keller Williams is awesome. Let me call Keller Williams office. Then Keller Williams office will give me a Keller Williams agent, and that's the agent that I'll do business with. Okay. Or I love Coldwell Banker. I love ReMax, or I love Century 21. Fill in the blank. Doesn't make a difference, right? So they choose the brand first, then they get the broker from the brand, right? Somebody at the office gives them the name of an agent that happens to work there. Okay, so that's 4% of the time. That's it. So what happens the other 96% of the time? Well, the other 96% of the time, theoretically, the consumer doesn't really care what company the agent works for. Okay, they're going to go out into the marketplace and try to find the best agent they can find. Okay, more than likely that is a connection through some type of referral, right? And or marketing and or social media presence, right? And or just the first agent they found, right? Hey, are you an agent? I'm looking to buy a home. Are you an agent? No. Okay, are you an agent? No, right? I mean, it's that literally people will spend more time trying to determine if they want a number one or a number two at Arby's than they will who's going to advise them in the largest transaction they'll ever be a part of, most likely until they buy an even bigger home. So that is a bit disappointing. But the takeaway message there is, hey, how do I go become the most skilled, most, kind of, how do I have the most presence in the community so that I can be the one that people are attracted to? But please understand, it doesn't make one bit of difference which flag you're flying. Okay, whether it's Coldwell Banker, Century 21, or ReMax, or Better Homes and Gardens, it really does not matter. Okay, so what's the deal with brokerages then? There's two sections here. It's what happens from the agent outward. That's what I'm just explaining. 4% of the time it matters, 96% of the time it doesn't matter. And then what happens is what happens from the agent back, meaning what is the brokerage doing behind the scenes to make the agent the best fit, right? From technology to helping them get trained and coached and systems and models and the way they think, and the tools that they use and the technologies they use that help them make more money and save more time, right? We've talked many times about we really just have two things. We got time and we got money. So when we have a project that needs to be accomplished, the question we should be asking ourselves is, are we going to use our time to deal with this project, or are we going to use our money to deal with this project, right? So for example, we had somebody come to the house yesterday and hang some curtains. Could I have done that? Probably. Okay, I've tried it in the past and I couldn't get the damn screw to go in the way I needed it to go in, and I didn't have the right tool, and like the bit was too big or too small, and it pissed me off, and then it pissed my wife off because I was a grouch, and then it ruined dinner because I was a grouch, and then I, was short with some client because I was a grouch. It's just not like, that's just not my one thing. That's not what I do, right? And so I'm gonna use my money for that type of project. Does that make sense? Okay, now let's go back to real estate for a second. So now we have to think to ourselves is, let's talk about the evolution of the real estate brokerages to begin with. I'll do this very, very quickly. Okay, there used to be only one type of real estate brokerage, what I would call the dependent model. Your biggest players in the dependent model space are Century 21 and Coldwell Banker. Okay, those companies have been around for 100 years or more. Okay, this is pre-internet, by the way. So pre-internet, the realtors had all the secrets, right? You couldn't go on Zillow to find out when the home was bought and how much the mortgage was for. And like, there was no, listing hub, like all the listings were kind of kept under wraps by their agents, And so the companies that marketed the most, like Century 21 and Coldwell Banker, and had the most offices. I mean, I think Century 21's got over 7,000 offices around the country. That's wildly inefficient. And the average agent count at each one of them is like 30 agents. That is incredibly inefficient, right? But they have more buildings and they have more market presence, and therefore they got a lot of action back in the 70s and before, right? And honestly, Keller Williams was running that type of company when they started. Then out came ReMax. ReMax was really the first company that took a independent model and basically put it into a dependent model industry and said, hey, the real estate brand is not what's driving your business, Tawantis. It's you that's driving your business. So if you don't want to pay 40 to 50% of your commissions away, and you don't really care what flag you're flying, why don't you come over to our side of town, and you can take 95 to 100% of your commissions. You'll just pay a big monthly fee. So way back in the day, ReMax has evolved. I shouldn't say evolved, maybe devolved, but they have changed their model several times in the last 10 years or so, because they're trying to figure out how to make money, right? I mean, the world is obviously changing, right? So what ended up happening is they cherry picked a lot of the top producers from these mom and pop shops and the major dependent companies and said, hey, why don't you come over here? You'll pay $1,500 a month to be here, and then you can keep between 95 and 100% of your commissions. So listen to that comp model. Who does that attract? That attracts a very high producer, right? So if I'm doing 5 deals a month, that's a great place to be. If I'm doing 5 deals a year, that's a crappy place to be. Does that make sense? Okay, so if you look at how the money works, everything else will fall into place. You will figure out what their model is simply by tracking the money. Okay, so ReMax, that was ReMax's gold mine there. Now, when you got a bunch of highly productive agents, what do you not have to do a whole lot of? Especially if it's not really important to your value system. Training. Okay, for those that were in Georgia 15 years ago, ReMax Greater Atlanta was the biggest ReMax franchise in the entire world. Now they're not even around. Why? There's probably a lot of reasons why, but I'll give you a couple. Number one is they weren't training their people to deal with the market of the moment. Short sales, foreclosures, etc. Right? These were basically independent workers. These are independent agents. Okay. If you've read the book, The 7 Habits of the Highly Effective Person, The central theme of that book is dependency evolves into independency, evolves into interdependency. Okay, independency is the highest evolution until or in the absence of interdependency. So if you guys know this story, Gary Keller lost about half of his top producers and 100% of his administrative team overnight when ReMax came to Austin. So he got the rest of his team together and said, what do we need to do here to make certain that this doesn't happen ever again? I want every person in this organization to be here for the long haul. So what type of organization do we have to develop? Okay, that's when we started to share the books or open the books. That's when we became open book. That's when we had profit share. That's when we had agent leadership councils. That's when we made a commitment to being the #1 training organization in the world, which we captured 15 to 20 years later, right? This is a long play, okay? And when you give people what they want and they're making money, your organization grows, right? When there's a vested interest for both sides, ownership and agents, to work together, we get what we get, right? And that's Keller Williams now. So with that said, there became a lot of these independent brokerages out there. You get a lot of, these are the less expensive places, you know, Virtual Properties, Atlanta Communities, JP and Associates, Solid Source, these types of companies, right? You don't pay a lot, but you also don't get a lot, okay? And for some people, that's where they want to be, okay? In the absence of value, price is the determining factor, right? When I was TL, we'd have agents periodically that would leave and say, well, I'm going to fill in the blank independent company. And I'd say, so tell me more about that. Well, it's less expensive, right? I said, so let me make sure I'm hearing this correctly. Okay. Are you choosing such and such company because you believe they have a better value package, right? Technology, training, community, culture, profit share, wealth building, all that. And that's better than Keller Williams, or are you choosing that company because it's less expensive? And 100 times out of 100, they said it's because it's less expensive. Okay. What they were telling me is they don't either appreciate what we offer or they don't participate in it. Okay. If you don't participate in all the things we do, when the bill comes, you're going to be like, hey, it's kind of expensive. And I don't blame you. So participate. Right? So here's the deal. When the interdependent company comes out, that's the highest evolution. I'll give you, a lot of these ideas, by the way, are from a gentleman named Aaron Kaufman, who's been a friend and mentor of mine for a long time. He runs a profit share group online that we've talked about, Facebook group. He said, compare this to a little child, okay? When the baby's born, it's dependent on its family for food and warmth and clothing and all that, right? And then many of us have had adult children or almost adult children, and then the child becomes independent, right? Oh, I can feed myself. Oh, I can get myself dressed. Oh, I don't need your help taking me to school, right? That's independency, okay? Now, some of those people will evolve to understand when they get into the workforce a lot of times that you're going to make more progress in life if you work with others, right? If you want to do everything by yourself, you're going to be limited to some degree. That is the evolution into interdependency. Okay, so we still have those 3 types of brokerages in Metro Atlanta and nationally and internationally now. Okay, and each type of brokerage serves its role. Okay, and I'm speaking in very general terms here. I'm not trying to offend anybody. Please don't take it that way. Let's kind of reset the stage for a second. Keller Williams is the #1 training organization in the world. Okay, we've invested $1 billion plus in a tech platform. We got Gary Keller. Okay, there ain't no one else that's got Gary Keller. We wrote the book on focus, motivation, team building, life worth living, business worth owning. Like, there's no other real estate leader out there that's had a fraction of the contribution to the real estate space than Gary Keller has. Okay, it's not even in the same universe. Okay, so we ask ourselves, well, why the hell isn't everyone already here? Right? Why wouldn't they be here already? Right? And the answer is actually a little unique, which is they're either a agent that has a dependent mindset, or they're an agent that has an independent mindset around the business. Because if they were looking for a business partner that was going to invest in technology, invest in coaching and training, have, you know, calendars full of training events, and half the training isn't even about real estate, right? More than half of the training isn't even about real estate. It's about how to become a better person and a better leader and a better spouse and a better parent, right? And be more efficient with your time and think bigger and make a bigger contribution. Would you agree? Is that what you've experienced so far, Twantis? You've been here a month or so.
Let me get up. Yeah, I love it. It feels like I was telling you one time before, like we have a podcast going almost like all day for you to just tune in and stay zoned. So I love it. That's my experience.
Right. And for those that have only been at Keller Williams, I got to tell you, you don't even know how lucky you are. Okay. Now, so where are all these other people? Okay. So that there's people that look at this business. As we all know, Keller Williams is not a place that you're going to get fish, right? You're going to need to earn the fish. What I mean by that is we don't really give leads so much. Now we're evolving also, and I'll get to that in a second. But I want you to understand that if you want leads, Keller Williams has not really historically been the place for you, right? We're gonna give you all the tools and tech and support, but if you're dependent on some other entity or a brokerage or website or something like that for leads, it's very difficult to set financial goals, because the thing is you don't know if you're going to have enough business to pull that off. Right? So you can't say, oh, I want to make $150,000 and then sit by the phone and wait for somebody else to give me the business. Right? Really what they're doing is selling it to you. Right? Here's a lead, but it's mine until you give me 40%. Want it? Right? And that's, I don't want to call it a penalty, but that's the cost of outsourcing the lead gen to somebody else. Right? Every lead that's ever been procured costs time and money. And if it wasn't your time and your money, well, you're going to pay the person back whose time and money it was. Does that make sense? So now a lot of times agents they're not being taught to think this way. And a lot of times they don't come into the business with a lot of business background. So they don't even really know what's happening behind the scenes. I was telling Ashley earlier today, by the way, this is, let's take a 2-second commercial break. Aubrey's in Dothan today, so I can run over a tiny bit. So this is Ashley Smith. I'm invited Ashley in today to hear this session on profit share. She is an agent with the North Atlanta office. She is actually the spearheading, I guess would be a good word, spearheading the social equity book club. We're reading a book called How to Be an Anti-Racist. And our first session was yesterday. And I was super impressed with Ashley, and she approached me. There was a comment made about how I'm, interested in profit sharing downline and stuff. So she took the initiative to reach out to me and asked for me to share some information with her, which of course I happily agreed to do. So Ashley, do you want to just take 2 seconds to tell the group about this book club and introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. The comment that was actually made is that Bill is the absolute go-to for profit share. He's being humble there, so I reached out to him. But we have a Facebook group, the Social Equality Facebook group, and we started a book club, as he said, on how to be an anti-racist. I will post today in the GLG the book club information and the link to our Facebook group so you can join. We have started with chapters, I think, 1 through the intro through chapter 3, but don't worry, if you want to join, you still don't meet again for 2 weeks due to mega camp. I would say join, even if you just want to listen to the conversation. It's so much deeper than the book. And it also, we talked about how it impacts our businesses. So I would invite you all to come, and I will post the information later today. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thanks for being here, Ashley. I'm hoping you're learning a lot. Okay, so let's go back to this idea. Why wouldn't they just automatically come to Keller Williams? Okay, they're at other companies for a few reasons. Okay, and we have a few people that are new to Keller Williams. We have a few people that have been at companies like I'm referring to. Okay, one is more of a dependent brand structured company. In my opinion, a company like Coldwell Banker, they believe that their brand is the most important thing they got. Okay. To the contrary, Keller Williams, quite frankly, doesn't care one bit about the brand because it doesn't make a bit of difference. They care about how can we make our agent the strongest agent possible so they can have the greatest life. When they have the greatest life and they're equipped with all the right tools, they'll go put a bunch of signs in the yard. And that's how people will know about Keller Williams. We don't have $100 million brand awareness campaign. We've never bought a Super Bowl ad. It's just ridiculous. Okay, a couple of years ago, Caldwell Banker's claim to fame was that they have more unique visitors to their website than any other major brand's website. We're not even playing that game. We're not taking people to caldwellbanker.com so that the lead can be siphoned off to the agent that pays the most money to the company, right? We're teaching our agents how to brand themselves so the lead goes to their website so they can retain it and earn the business. Y'all follow that? Is that crazy talk?
It is.
That's crazy talk? Hey, what I just described or me?
Well, are you talking about the unique visitors to their website? That was their claim to fame?
Yeah, like we're not even playing that.
Crazy talk.
If we wanted to have that designation, we could have it in an hour. That's not the value of our company. We believe the greatest asset we have is our agent. If we didn't have agents, we'd be out of business tomorrow, right? If we don't take care of our people, they're not going to work, and they're definitely not going to be in business with us. Y'all follow that? So again, I'm not saying.
Agree to that. I think agree to that, Bill. Because I came over from Caldwell. They do spend a lot of time and money on their brand.
Yeah, exactly. Now here, thank you for sharing that, Markia. I'm trying to dance around it because I know that's where you came from. I reached out to you because I knew where you were, quite frankly, right? And here's the thing. That's a great fit for some people, okay? Now, many Coldwell Banker has kind of backed off this recently, that you're starting to see some caps in their commissions, but historically they were not a capping company, meaning that there were literally agents that were paying 20 to 30% of their commission on every single deal, no matter how many deals they did. So everyone in the building is basically on a different, they've got a variation of a different sweetheart deal. So when a lead comes through caldwellbanker.com, you think it's going to that struggling agent that's been practicing their listing presentation over and over as a brand new agent? Or do you think that's going to the agent that just wrote a six-figure check to the broker that year? Who do you think is going to get that piece of business?
The six-figure writer.
Of course, right? What do you think that does for culture? You think that's good for culture? No, it's not particularly good for culture. It's not particularly good for culture, okay? So if you're willing to allow somebody else to generate the lead for you, you're going to pay for it, okay? That's a dependent-minded, brand-focused brokerage. Now, many of us come from, we're taught that brand means everything, okay? The question is, what's the brand you're talking about? It's not Keller Williams, it's you. You're the brand. People, only 4% of the time are choosing you because you're flying the KW flag. The other 96% of the time, you could be flying the Ebony Eccles Realty flag, and as long as you're solid, they're going to work with you. But if you're not solid, they're not going to work with you. It's that simple. Make sense? The other type of person who would not be attracted to Keller Williams is somebody who is potentially more price focused. Okay. In the absence of value, price is the determining factor. It's like that example I gave you earlier. Okay. If somebody's going to leave Keller Williams to go to a cheaper place, are they leaving because they found a better value package there, or are they leaving because it's just flat out less expensive? And 99 times out of 100, they say it's because it's less expensive. I said, so are we talking about how to save money here, or are we talking about how to make money here? I'm confused. Right? Because if you go, and there are a lot of generalizations here, I hope I don't get a whole lot of pushback here, but I'm just going to speak my mind, okay? Here's the thing. If you go to a firm like that, there's basically two types of people that work at firms like that. I'd say maybe 90% of the people that work at firms like that are people that chose that company because they couldn't find a cheaper one, right? The other 10% of people that work at a firm like that are, let's say, people that they know how to sell real estate. They probably learned it from Keller Williams, quite frankly. And then they say, well, I already know how to sell homes, so rather than paying $18,000 a year, I'll go pay $400 a transaction. Okay. And the reason why they do that is not because, it's basically because they don't value what we value, right? They're not interested in teaching classes. They don't want to go to Bold. Coaching isn't a part of their world, right? They're not interested in growing a team. They're limited to some degree. And when they go hang out with a bunch of people that join that company because it's the cheapest one they can find, they ain't going to grow either, right? If you're 300 pounds overweight, your friends are not gym rats. It just doesn't work that way. Y'all hear that? You see what I'm saying? It's just not fun. Like, Tawantis, you're working out every day at 5 o'clock in the morning. If I was 300 pounds overweight, I probably wouldn't want to hang out with you all that much. And truthfully, you probably wouldn't want to hang out with me all that much because we don't have much in common. You see what I'm saying? So here's the thing. You got to ask yourself, why did I even get into this business in the first place? Okay. And I've literally talked to thousands of agents. Okay. From super high production to I'm just curious about real estate. And every single one of them got into the business for the exact same reason, which is they want a better quality of life. Okay. They want a better quality of life. Either it's more time, more money, more flexibility. They want to manage their own schedule. They want unlimited income. They want to travel. They want to work from home. They want to be with their family. It's all about quality of life. 100 times out of 100. Now, I know that's pretty broad, but that's basically what it boils down to. Okay. So how do we get you the best quality of life possible? Well, there's two things you better figure out. One is, how do you control the lead flow into your organization? And then how do we equip you with all the tools, value, and technology and leverage and all that kind of leadership skills so that you can grow an organization that ultimately you can little by little remove the responsibilities that you have from the worker bee type responsibilities to the leader, visionary, pace setter type responsibilities. Make sense? What are you guys hearing so far?
We're responsible for our own business.
100%.
We cannot be dependent on Keller Williams to give us leads. We need to grow, learn how to bring our leads in ourselves.
Yeah. And I got to tell you, I know this, I hope this doesn't sting anybody, but I'll say it anyway. If all you want to make is $20,000 or $30,000 a year in this business, damn, it is a stressful way to do it. My God. You know, like, I'm not saying that's, I lost somebody already. There you go. Thank goodness. Okay, thank you. Um, God, if that's what you want, great. Can I just show it to you how to do it in like a month, and you can take the rest of the year off? But my God, if that's what you want, like there are so many other less stressful ways to make that kind of money. Like we put up with what we put up with because the options are unlimited. Y'all know what I mean? Now, let's talk about Keller Williams for 1 second. Now, we used to have this discussion that's like Keller Williams is the place for interdependent-minded people, right? You're not dependent on somebody else, and you're not independent, not valuing anything that we value and not willing to pay for it, right? And so we're the interdependent model. Now, Gary Keller, in his infinite wisdom, has adjusted a tiny bit. He's saying, look, prior to the internet, okay, there was only really one type of real estate company, and the company that won that era, if you will, okay, were the dependent firms, okay? From the time the internet came out to really when, I'd say like 2000 or so, that was ReMax's reign, okay? ReMax is the independent company. And when the market really shifted, and Solid Source really became a major player in Atlanta, right? Because agents weren't making any money, so they wanted to pay less money, right? And so it became more about money and less about value because there wasn't that many deals to be had. Y'all see that? Keller Williams went into the shift number 5. We came out number 1. Why? Because in a shifted marketplace, the big producers or the people that are business focused are going to say, hey, who's going to be my best business partner? And they chose Keller Williams because of training and technology and culture. And then we end up number 1. Make sense? So the independent brokerage had their time also. Now we've been clearly the winners of the interdependent game. But the future, tech's changing everything. So in order to be the winners of the future game, we have to be the place that dependent-minded agents can win at. We also have to be the place that independent-minded agents can win at. And we also have to be the place that interdependent-minded agents can win at. Make sense? So we're in the very early stages of putting together a program that's going to be available to PC people that is going to basically be, it's not going to really be a lead program, but it's going to be an appointment program. So rather than giving you some internet lead and say, hey, Ebony, it's probably lousy, but why don't you just spin your wheels for 3 days trying to figure that out, right? We're going to do all that and give you an appointment. And there'll be a fee for it because there's a lot of cost involved, but it won't be nearly as high as what it would be at a relocation firm or potentially even a team. Okay, so there will be opportunities for agents that appreciate somebody else helping with the lead generation and the nurturing, right? Then there will be services for the independent agent, what we're basically calling shared services, leverage tools and, I'm sorry, interdependency is like listings management, transaction management, marketing design, lead gen management, smart plan management. This is the new model a lot of you guys probably haven't seen. Okay. And then we have an independent model, which is business training, financial training, leverage training, profit sharing, expansion, team caps, these kind of things, right? So the agents like that go rent a space outside of the market center, right? They're a little bit more independent, if you will, right? But we got to make sure that we deliver the appropriate value proposition to them too. So the question is who's running the show? Who's the leader? Okay. Now I'm proud to be with Keller Williams. However, I will tell you this, I have more loyalty to my family. And I would hope that all y'all do too. So if there's a better model out there that's going to deliver better wealth building opportunities, better leadership opportunities, better financial opportunities, I'm going to give it a look because I'm a smart businessman and I'm looking and I hadn't found anything even close. Okay. But it's up to Keller Williams to deliver on the value proposition every day so that they can retain their most talented people. And that's why they're continuing to build out tech and offering all types of opportunity to people so that the talented people can stick around. Make sense? I learned as team leader, agents stay at your brokerage for 2 reasons. They're making money and they have a friend. The second they quit making money and the second they lose their friend, meaning they don't appreciate the culture, the camaraderie, they're out. Right? They're looking for a place that's going to do more stuff for them, dependency, or charge them less, independency. Right? Y'all follow that? So now, what's all this got to do with profit share? I'm glad you asked. Okay. It has to do with profit share because there's only 2 problems that real estate agents face. Okay. I know I'm going over, we'll end in like 3 minutes. Okay. There's only 2 problems that a real estate agent faces. As a matter of fact, I don't even have to ask them what problem they got. I just look at how much money they make. Okay. Problem number 1 is I don't have enough leads. Problem number 2 is I have too many leads. It's all about leads. Okay. I would say that breaking point is probably somewhere in the $5 million volume neighborhood. If you're like 0 to 2 million, you pretty much have you have a lead issue. That's all that we need to talk about. Getting you more at bats. It's that simple. If you're $2 to $5 million in volume, generally speaking, okay, your business is most likely not focused enough on seller listings. Okay, and you're running yourself ragged working around town with buyers. Because if your business was seller focused, you'd be way past 5 million. Okay, so I can almost guarantee you have an abnormally high buyer side business if you're still below that 5 million mark. So the only thing we need to be talking about is listings. At 5 million, you're saying to yourself, oh my gosh, seriously, I got more work to do now? All you can think about is offsetting some of the tasks that are on your plate to somebody else. All you can think about is leverage. Okay. So if you're like 0 to 5 million or so, you got a lead issue. Let's talk about how to get you more leads. If you're 5 million or more or so, you're probably starting to feel the pinch in terms of your quality of life, starting to get threatened a little bit. You're being asked to spend more weekends away from your family, more evenings away from your family, right? Because you got a lot of opportunity. You've earned it. Good job. Now what are you going to do? Are you going to stay in that zone forever and be constantly stressed and constantly overworked and say, well, I'm a realtor, so I work every night and every weekend. I don't take vacations because I'm a realtor. I work every Sunday. Are you trying to impress me? All that tells me is that you don't have anyone in your world teaching you how to run a business, right? So generally, agents will go one of 2 directions. They'll either retreat back to earning, I don't know, maybe let's say 75 grand or so, where it's a lot less stressful, or they'll grow. Now, who wrote the book on growth? Was it the dude from Solid Source?
Gary Keller.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so when you're in discussions with real estate agents or people that could become real estate agents, the question is, or really real estate agents, let's focus on that for a second. If I ask a real estate agent how their business is, they're generally speaking going to start complaining about something pretty quick. And it's generally going to go down one of 2 paths. I don't have enough leads, or I have too many leads. Is that safe to say, Tawantis?
Look, safe to say.
Is that safe to say, Markia?
Yes,
Ashley, you've been at Coldwell Banker before. Is that safe to say?
it is.
Okay. Now, here's the cool part. Now Keller Williams basically becomes the pharmacy. Okay. Okay, you're struggling with buyers? Cool, go to that class. Struggling with sellers? Cool, go to that class. You can't get your scripts down packed? Go here. You can't get enough referrals? Go there. Your arm hurt? We got a pill for you. Your leg hurt? We got a different pill for you. Okay. What's the best way to introduce a non-KW agent to KW? Throw them into our culture. Invite them to a class, right? Invite them to Mega Camp, right? Invite them to this type of session. Maybe not this one, right? But let them experience it. I don't believe they're getting that type of experience elsewhere. Is that safe to say, you guys that have been elsewhere? Y'all follow what I'm saying? So basically, you got to just ask. First of all, people like to talk about themselves, right? So they're going. If you ask them enough about their business, they'll like you to begin with, and you'll be able to find out right off the bat: is this a person that needs help with leads, or is this person a person that needs help with leverage? Okay, or potentially listings. Interesting. Leads, listings, leverage. Have y'all heard that before?
Yeah,
Has anybody ever heard that? That sounds vaguely familiar. I'm feeling kind of sarcastic today. Has anyone ever heard that? Where did that come from? Come on, y'all, play with me.
MREA.
Okay, thank you, Ashley. Okay, there you go. We wrote the book on that too. Okay, so there's only a couple of reasons why somebody would leave Keller Williams. One is they were never really ready to be an interdependent agent anyway. Okay, they're looking for leads and they're not willing to do the hard work to get them. Or they're more independent minded thinking and they don't value what we do. If let's say they start to be really good at Fizbos and we say, hey, will you teach a class on Fizbos? They're like, why would I teach a class on Fizbos? Okay, you're not gonna like it here, right? You're just not gonna like being at Keller Williams. It's not for everybody, right? Or the other is that we don't deliver on our interdependent value proposition. So we talk a great game, but when it comes down to it, you can't get the help you need and people aren't friendly and you're just not getting the value that you're paying for. Does it make sense? So profit share is simply just introducing agents that have a gap in their business to a place that can fill the gap. It's really that simple, right? So if you got a problem with lead gen, or you got a problem with growing or hiring, or you got a problem with technology, or you're spending your time inefficiently or spending your money inefficiently, let me introduce you to some concepts that will help you. And then they'll look at it and they'll say, well, damn, I'm not getting that where I'm at. Then we just have to have a business conversation. Is this something you value? Are we going to talk about how much money you're spending, or are we going to talk about how much money you're earning, right? And there are literally people that spend more time trying to find a cheaper place than they do making calls. Like, hey, I know we're at the one for $78, but I just found one for $77.25. Let's go there. I mean, how insane is that? It just blows my mind. So just like you're going to spend time each day looking for home buyers and looking for home sellers and putting them through the funnels and following up with them and delivering value and answering their questions and introducing them to a new house, that's like introducing to a real estate prospect to a new class, right? It's the same business. It's lead generation. If I talk to 1,000 agents, somebody's going to join Keller Williams and name me a sponsor. Somebody will, I promise you. Actually, it's probably going to happen a lot. If I talk to one person, who knows what's going to happen, right? Again, it's a mixture of numbers and relationships. And the more people you speak to, you'll identify the people that you jive with, that need what you got, and that value what you have, right? The day I talked to Tawantis for the first time, I talked to a couple other agents that are not here because they are perfectly happy making $15,000 a year. I'm not here to judge you. I'm going to call your bluff. You did not get into this business to make 15 grand. I promise you. Don't lie to me. Don't lie to yourself. All right. This is one of the topics that I feel like particularly passionate about. I've been at another broker before. I got nothing but good things to say about them. However, I'm here for a reason. Okay. And so many things in my world have changed in the last 10 years because of my affiliation with this company. And I'm not connecting people to this company so that I can make a couple $100 here and there. I'm connecting people to this company because it has the potential to change everything for them. Y'all hear that? And then they can really get what they were looking to get when that thought popped into their mind, whenever it popped into their mind about being a real estate agent. Y'all see? Y'all hear that?
Yeah, I was going to say it's changed my life.
Yeah. I mean, my
And
God.
when I get the call from somebody trying to recruit me over to Century 21 or Coldwell Banker, it's like, no, take me off your list. I'll never leave Keller Williams.
Yeah, every time I get one of those calls, I usually have some fun with it. I say,
Yeah, I try to recruit them.
yeah, I say, yeah,
property.
I'll be happy to meet with you. How long would you like? And they're like totally thrown by that question. I'm like, yeah, like, you want 30 minutes, an hour, hour and a half? What do you want? I'm like, I guess an hour. I said, cool, you get an hour, and then when you're done, I get an hour. Fair? And they're like,
Oh, that's
just
good.
kidding. We don't want to do this. I can't even tell you how many times that's happened. All right, y'all, was this helpful? So again, this isn't the only time we'll talk about profit share. The key is get into conversations, lots of them, share your story, right? Share what you're learning and the type of person you're becoming and the type of business you're developing. And then you create enough curiosity and you hand them off to a person in leadership who is trained to do a needs analysis and handle objections and all that kind of stuff. Okay. And then obviously we respect the referral, right? So if you know somebody who is, I don't want to say struggling, because I mean, we're attracting people that have enormous businesses. I mean, I won't say the guy's name, but we're about to attract the third person from Compass in the last couple months. These are people that have big businesses, but they see a better potential to have a better life. I'm not going to say a bigger business, it's totally up to them, but a better quality of life here. Okay. So if somebody you know is not where they want to be, they need to have a conversation with one of us. Okay. Myself, Aubrey, Robin, Susan, we all know how to have these conversations. And we're more than happy to tee it up for you so they can go right into your downline. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right. Any parting questions?
I have one.
Okay.
Where'd you go to find sponsors? Like you said you had Kathy, like when you get the calls from Coldwell Banker and things of that. So is that
Yeah.
kind of saying you know that you made it when somebody else is kind of calling you? You know, to recruit you? Is it kind of a tax bracket thing? Like, how do you find those people? Because I want the call so I can turn it down because I know that, hey, I'm doing something.
Yeah, Bill, I would like to know how you found me. It was a random call one day.
It's funny stuff. I mean, the truth of the matter is, I have to go back and look at my notes. I remember Tawanta's conversation well. Okay, yeah, now I remember it. Okay, so there's always something going on here, right? We've got bold, like the first bold pivot. I reached out to Markia. At that moment, I was looking for people in a certain production level, right? Who I thought that would be most, who would benefit the most from a class like bold, right? And I straight up cold called her. And I said, by the way, we have a system called Broker Metrics. It basically has the breakdown of which agents are at which firms and what their production is and trends and all that kind of stuff, right? So I'm not necessarily going after the biggest fish I can find. I'm going after the people who need what we have and who might value what we have. So I didn't reach out to Markia specifically because she was a top producer. I don't want this to come across the wrong way, but she's kind of just a name on the page, right? However, she showed why she's not just a name on the page immediately, because if you're not learning based and you're not business savvy, then you're like, this is just somebody else that wants my time, right? But if you're a smart businesswoman, you say, hey, this is a man calling me about opportunity. I'm going to give him a chance to talk, right? So good for her, right? She said, bold. Well, duh. I can increase my listings taken by 58%. Okay, sign me up. You're gonna send it to me for free? I'm done. I'm there. Tawantis, it was part of a Bold 100 effort. Okay, and my assistant, I was making a bunch of calls that day. My assistant was texting a bunch of people that day, and we were trying to talk to 100 people. Tawantis reaches back, hey, I'd be interested in a business consult. I say, beautiful. Let's talk. Right? So it's like it's not like I wasn't like watching her from afar and admiring the way she did business. I was just calling the list basically, but I was able to determine right off the bat who I wanted to spend my energy with based on how they immediately reacted, right? Yeah, I want to learn how to grow my business. Let's talk. Are you available today? Right? Ooh, this one's a good one. I like her. Right? But if like, no, I'm loyal to my broker. I'm so happy the fact that I'm making $12,000 a year. Okay. Have a nice life. I don't know, man. I feel like I sound like an asshole. I mean, does that make sense? Like, it's not like you don't call a Fizbo because you've been admiring them from afar. You call a Fizbo because they're a Fizbo. Right? And I don't want you guys to take offense to that. I just know that like I got something to share. This company's changed my life. I don't care who you are. I don't care what your name is, what color you are, how many years you've been in the business, how productive you are. I know that if you give me the time of day to talk, your life will be better as a result. You still like me, Tawantis?
I agree.
Was that a yes? You still like me, Markia?
Yes, I do.
And that's kind of what it is. Now, so Markia and Tawantis have come to Keller Williams. They both named me as a sponsor. I'm incredibly grateful for that. So, and they're in the productivity coaching program. I mean, is there not somebody, I mean, there is no one out there that is more concerned about their success than me. How cool is that? I wake up thinking
Very.
about them and I go to bed thinking about them.
Oh, you go to bed thinking about all of it.
I didn't say I didn't think about all of y'all, Kathy. You know I love you now.
I know. I was just hoping I would get a laugh from you. That you made me laugh earlier about the $78 or the $77.25. I mean, I fell laughing.
Look, y'all, it's
And Bill, I want to touch on that. I think more than anything, because we worked together, I think 3-4 months before, maybe 4 or 5. I think it was back in May when Bo first came on.
Yeah.
And Bill never asked anything of me. He still just continued to meet with me like on an every other week basis. And I think it was more so of the consistency without any attachment and just wanting to see me be great. And it's kind of like, well, why is he pouring all this information to me and I'm not even with this brokerage? And it got to a point where I was like, okay, I kind of feel like I'm cheating on one broker with the other.
well,
so I definitely appreciate that. And then Aubrey stepped in and I had like 3 meetings with him and I'm like, okay, like this is, I feel invested.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I want you guys to always, your top loyalty should not be to Keller Williams or me. Your top loyalty should be to your
To be
family
yourself. Hmm.
and to yourself, right?
Hmm.
And here's the thing. If you, that's like saying when, you know, a pretty common response that we get when we're making these calls is, oh, I love my broker. Okay, well, that's not what I asked you. I asked you if you were on track for your goals. And I know damn well you're not, because you only sold 2 houses this year. So you love your broker? Is that what you're
Good
saying?
morning.
So are you more loyal to your broker or are you more loyal to your family? Now, only with some conversations will I say it that bluntly, right? But what they're telling me is they're so blindsided by the way their broker has taught them about the real estate space that they can't even see that their broker is not actually helping them build their business, right? So, like, if your broker loved you, they wouldn't let you make 10 grand a year. Okay, what do you think about that? I mean, is that raw or is that rude or should I quit saying that? I mean, I believe that.
It's not rude. I think the truth is a hard pill to swallow, and people struggle with the truth. And so it's easier to call something rude or say you're being an asshole than it is to digest that, wow, this is probably my truth.
Right. So I've talked to a lot of people over time. I can usually like use the right words with the right person at the right time. Every once in a while, I'm like, oh, I probably crossed the line there, right? But here's the thing, like that they know it. They're not happy. They're not happy, right? You know, I just know that if you can give me the time of day, I can share something with you that's going to help your business. And I feel super passionate about that. And that's why I'm in the seat I'm in. And as a result, I'd like to think that the people that I've come in touch with are thinking about business and life differently. And those that have joined Keller Williams and I was involved, now all you got to do is walk in the door and like I joke around, hey Mel, where are all the people making money having fun, right? The sponsor's job is to bring you to the front door. Your job is to go in and learn how to be successful with all the tools and systems and stuff that we do. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
However, if somebody that I've brought to the company, quite frankly, somebody I haven't, I just met Ashley yesterday, right? I don't have any profit share relationship with her. But not everyone will email somebody and say, hey, I'd like to, be in a relationship with you. So when somebody does, I go out of my way to honor that. Okay. All right, guys, this was fun. We'll continue the conversation next time. We did have one little schedule change, by the way. I'm rescheduling with Oscar, but it's going to be Pam Duncan tomorrow. Pam is a longtime agent at our office, capper, owns a team, the Red Team Realty. She was I believe one of the original agents at Roswell. Hey there, how are you? So she's going to be with us tomorrow. And don't forget that we also have a class with Sam from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock tomorrow on custom tags. Custom tags with Sam tomorrow, 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock. And then I will send the link a little bit later, but GLG Productivity is doing a class on scripts today from 2 to 3. I will send that link in the announcements page. You're more than welcome to come to that too, okay? Thank you guys so much. By the way, if there's anybody that you would like me to speak with about Keller Williams, I'm certainly willing to do that, and clearly willing to help facilitate that person naming you. All right. All right, y'all. Have an awesome day. Thanks for letting me chat for a bit. Ashley, hope you had fun. Thanks for all you're doing for the social equity group.
Thank you. I did.
Thank you.
Thanks.